So next we have, I have about a dozen of these, and they all have vintage Megos and more contemporary Mego styled figures, and they're all kind of mix matched in these bins. So I'm gonna go through all of them kind of as one big bin and pull out groups of them by category. I think that's the best way to go through these over these next couple of bins. Okay, so let's do this first one. So here are all original vintage Mego Star Trek figures. All original, all vintage. What can I say? You know, I think my brother David gave me every single one of these. I know he gave me the Spock. I know he gave me Spock's gear. He gave me the Klingon for Christmas one year. He just gave me the Kirk. He just gave me the Bones. My brother Mike gave me the Scotty for my birthday last year. My brother David gave me the Uhura, I think, for my birthday the year before that. My brother David gave me the Keeper. I think he just out and out gave that to me. The Charon, I think he gave to me for Christmas or another birthday or something. But my brother David gave me all these because I have never purchased a Mego Star Trek, and I have all of these. Plus, I have the very rare and sought after original Romulan that we saw at the beginning. When I had the setup in the living room of the Holy Grails of the real signature pieces. So this is just minus that Romulan. These are all of my original vintage Star Trek Megos. Okay, so here's some superhero vintage Megos. This isn't all of them. Right now I can't find my Batman, my Robin, my Superman, but I know they're in that closet somewhere. They're coming. We'll see them in a few minutes, but right now I can't find them. This is a custom that I made. This is Tony Stark. I dyed the outfit, stole the shoes from another figure, stole the shirt from a Starsky and Hutch figure, one of the Starsky and Hutch figures, put a mustache on him, and voila. Custom vintage, all vintage, mind you, Mego Tony Stark. Human Torch, obviously. Mint condition, baby. Maybe a little bit dingy around some areas, but he's in great shape. This is actually a custom. It's kind of a save, but this is Battleware Spider-Man. They didn't actually make him, but this is, you know, a usage of some old parts, and, you know, his gloves ripped off. You know, he's pretty cool. He actually looks like some of that battle-damaged Spider-Man from the comic books, so I dig on him. This is Peter Parker. This is not the actual Peter Parker. This is kind of a custom Peter Parker that I made from other Mego parts. And this is all vintage, all original Falcon and Captain America. You know, Captain America and the Falcon, they shared the comic book for years together, and word is that the Falcon will be in the next Avengers movie. Kind of interesting to see how that goes out, because I've always dug on the Falcon. And actually, a lot of people think he was Marvel's first black superhero. He was not. Marvel's first black superhero was actually Black Panther. So that's it. Let's move on. Okay. Here are some contemporary Megos. They are actually endorsed by Marty Abrams, who was the founder and president of Mego during its heyday. So when you see on the back of some of these contemporary Mego-like figures, you see Marty Abrams on him. It's a real Mego. It's using the real original molds and improved upon some of the molds, but the hands and stuff and the bodies, the joints and everything are the original Mego molds. So these are awesome, but I love the universal monsters of these. These are just awesome, awesome figures. This is a Wolfman and Count Dracula. And, you know, the Bela Lugosi Dracula, obviously. The Boris Karloff Mummy, and the Boris Karloff Frankenstein, which, man, if you really look at these, the details and the painting and the sculpts of the faces are far better than the famous monsters and the Universal monster figures that were put out by Mego and by Mego-like companies in the 70s. These are just far superior to those. But these are awesome. Here's the creature from the Black Lagoon from the same monster set. I couldn't find it just a minute ago, so I'm pulling it out just on its own here. But the creature from the Black Lagoon, hands down one of my favorite Universal monsters, hands down one of my favorite Universal monster movies, and now hands down one of my favorite contemporary Mego figures. This is just an awesome figure. It's beautifully done, a lot of great detail, and I actually have taken him out of the package because he was just too cool to not look at and hold and experience. Next on with, these are some more vintage Megos that don't really go in a category by themselves, so let's just go through these. This is John Boy from the Waltons. Yeah, John Boy from the Waltons, that's right. Oh, this is General Urko from the Planet of the Apes. And I have quite a bit of the Planet of the Apes, guys, but I can't find them all together, so we'll see them all grouped like this over the next few minutes. This is the Scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz with automatic detachable boots. One of my favorite qualities of some of the Mego figures. Okay, don't put that in there. Okay, sorry about that. His boots fly off a little bit. Here's an Warrior Ape from Planet of the Apes and his rifle. You know, even though he was a Marvel character, he had a Marvel comic book. A lot of people, and I also, don't really consider Conan a Marvel character. He's got his swords and his knife. This is actually a custom. Mego did make a Conan, but I kind of pieced him together and custom made some of these parts. So he's all original, but he's half factory, half custom. This is an original Mego. This is a custom of just different parts. I don't know who he is, but he was just a bunch of parts that I had and fit together, and he's like creepy guy in black. So I like to call him, that's a pretty good name for him. And then this is Action Jackson, who was a Mego character. It was kind of Mego's answer to G.I. Joe. Was bigger in the UK than he was in the US, but you know, he's a quintessential vintage Mego. These are all vintage, and they are what they are. That's it. So let's see some more. Here's an odd assortment. This is an original vintage Wizard of Oz Tin Man, and he is complete except he doesn't have, I think he has a heart, and I think he came with a little hatchet. But vintage, cool figure. Fonzie, you know, cool. He's complete and vintage. And this is actually a Toy Biz, I think it's Toy Biz, Dr. Doom from the mid-90s. The only reason he's with the Megos is because he's around the same size. He's cloth costume, you know, he's a Mego-like figure. And these are the only 5 that I could find right at this second as we're digging through the closet. So here's an odd little assortment. This is Fango Electrico from the independent short film Ivory Bastards Against Extinction, of which I was the star as Fango Electrico. To promote the film, I made figures of 3 of the main characters, and we took some photography, you know, took some pictures of them and made some little mock ads. And it was a retro thing, so, you know, he's got the bell bottoms and the 70s cool vest and everything. But it's pretty cool that I've got an action figure of me, made by me, of the film that starred me. So, I mean, you know, in the dig me realm, this is actually pretty cool. And sometimes when I'm feeling a little down, I hang out with Fango Electrico, and it makes me feel a little bit better about my life. And so, this is, I'm sorry, this is Dr. Zaius, original, vintage, Mego, complete, great condition. All of these guys are pretty much in great condition, except the Tin Man's foot is taped up, his boot came apart. So there's an odd little assortment of Mego and Mego-like figures, and let's check out the next lot. Okay, so moving on. This is a reproduction of an original Mego catalog of 1972 to 1982. Even though this is a reproduction, it's not the actual original catalog. This thing is really, really cool. It shows all of that Mego stuff that you always wanted to see, and it's the factory photography, real good detail color shots. And I have no idea how hard one of these is to get, but I love the one I got, man. This is almost, it's almost, to me, it's like a really good Mego figure in great condition. I mean, that's how I really dig on this catalog. Okay, and this is a contemporary reproduction of a Star Trek Mego, the Andorian, and this is not a contemporary Mego-like figure. This is actual reproduction of the original Andorian, and this guy is unopened. He is really, really cool. Okay, and now what we've got here is Doctor Who. He is a contemporary version. Mego did a Doctor Who, but you know, honestly, if you see the vintage Mego Doctor Who, he's really not that cool. He's really not that well done. This one is actually done a lot better than Mego's original one from the 70s. This is just such a really, really cool looking figure. It's a really awesome face sculpt. He's got his interstellar screwdriver. Is that what it's called? Sonic screwdriver. But this is just a great, great figure. That scarf is extra long. The coat, nice fabric. The tie, that is just a great, great figure that actually exceeds Mego's original figure from the 70s. Cool figure. Okay. Oops, sorry. Tom, my bad. Okay, and next we have here, this is the only vintage Mego that I have unopened in mint on card. This is obviously Boss Hogg from the Dukes of Hazzard. He's obviously not an exceptionally valuable figure, lest I wouldn't be able to own him. I paid 25 bucks for this guy, and I was real surprised. I thought they were going to want like 40 or 50 from him. But he's in really good shape and very little yellowing. Sometimes the Boss Hogg has some real yellowing problems in the package, but he doesn't. A little bit on his vest, but the suit's nice and white, hat's nice and white, and this is just really, really, really cool to have this figure. Even though I'm not a real big fan of the Dukes of Hazzard, this is, I think, the only Dukes of Hazzard item I own, period. The only other Dukes of Hazzard item that I would really be super interested in would be the Dukes of Hazzard metal lunchbox from the 70s to go with my metal lunchbox collection. Next, this is a contemporary Mego-like figure. This is not endorsed by Marty Abrams or any of the people at Mego. It's not actual Mego molds, but it's real close. Very cool figure. His head's a little bit too big for his body, but you know, I mean, what are you going to do? Some of the original Megos were the same way, but this is a really cool figure. He is actually opened. I had to open him, take him out, check him out. And I'm glad I did, because he's a cool figure and he's got bionic arm, bionic leg. He actually has, excuse me, he actually has transparent and silver body parts for his bionic body parts. Similar to the $6 Million Man from the 70s, the 12-inch figure. And now here's the Bigfoot from the $6 Million Man show, and this was Andre the Giant as Bigfoot. Had to open him too, man. This is a cool, cool figure. I had to take him out and check him out. He is just badass. So that's him. And it's cool, these $6 Million Man figures both came with the sound effect keychain. So, so that was a really cool kind of extra that came with those figures. This is quite an oddity here. This is the Osama bin Laden action figure. This guy is a Mego-like figure, and I'll tell you a little bit more about him because I actually made him. He started out as a Jed Clampett. I don't remember the name of the toy company, Playland or Toyland or something like that, but it was a Jed Clampett, and I cannibalized a Green Army t-shirt, and I don't remember where the beard was from, and made a little toboggan and stole an Uzi from one of my Ultimate Soldier Nazis, and made an Osama action figure because I just figured, you know, I can't find one on the toy store shelves. Toys R Us doesn't carry them, Walmart doesn't carry them, Target doesn't carry them, so damn it, I had to make one. And that's pretty wild. Don't really ask me why I did this. I guess I'm just kind of weird sometimes. But bizarre figure, you know. Let me see, what else do we got here? And this is another custom figure that I made. The body actually came from a Mego Marsha Brady or a Mego Dynamite. I'm not sure which, but I made the head out of Sculpey. The black hair I stole from a baby doll, and the gown with some watercolor paint to simulate all of that green vomit that she vomited all over herself. Made the card back, stole the bubble from one of my bubbles for protecting my vintage Mego figures. Totally made the card, printed out and everything. And I think this is just a really cool oddity. And, you know, obviously I love The Exorcist, and I dig having my custom Mego Linda Blair / Pazuzu action figure. And it is, by the way, it's all vintage, basically. I mean, it's a vintage body and everything. Okay, so let's get into some superheroes. This is DC Retro Action superheroes. These are contemporary, and they are Mego-like. They are made to resemble Megos in every shape or form, or in any shape or form. They're a little bit inferior to Megos in ways. They're superior to Megos in some ways, but obviously very beautifully done, nice cards, very reminiscent, if not at sometimes virtually copied from the original Mego superheroes. Although Mego never made the Cheetah, Mego never made Captain Cold, so this line goes far beyond what Mego actually did produce of the DC superheroes. But this first one, this is Cheetah, and this is Wonder Woman's, one of Wonder Woman's arch enemies, and just a great figure, man. I just think she's such a cool figure, and you know, there's not a whole lot of female figures, so when they do come out and they do a figure and they do it well, really try to, you know, get that, because that's so awesome. Okay, don't have a good place to. Okay, and speak of the devil, here is Captain Cold. When I found him, I got him on eBay for, I think I got him for like 10 bucks, and the card's damaged a little bit. I thought since the card was damaged, I was going to take him out, check him out. So I actually did open him and take him out, checked him out for a while, and then put him back. But other than the damage to the card, he's mint, and he is a really cool figure. Okay, so there's him, and here, this is Black Manta, and this is Aquaman's archenemy, and this is just a cool figure. I really, really wanted to open him, but these retro action cards are so reminiscent of the vintage Megos, and they're so nicely done that these are one of the few toys that the majority of them I do not open. Usually the majority I open, and these are, you know, obviously polar to that because of the nature of the packaging. But cool figure. Okay, and next we have, this is Wonder Woman, and this is such a great figure, so well done. This is probably one of the best looking Wonder Woman action figures I've ever seen, 70s, 80s, 90s, etc. Really well done, very Mego-like, a lot of improvements on the original Mego Wonder Woman, had some issues, just, you know, some things about it that were a little silly, and these have been improved upon with this version of the Wonder Woman. It's just a great figure, and these were the absolute most sought after of all of this DC Retro Action line, is the Wonder Woman figure, because it is so well done. It's such a cool figure. Okay, next here is Two-Face. This is Batman's, one of Batman's enemies, and he's got a really cool face. I mean, he's just done well. The double suit is just so cool. I mean, a really, really nice looking figure, nice looking card. Even on that pink color, it's kind of you know, an odd color, but just a cool looking toy. I mean, boom, frame that and stick it on the wall. It's a piece of art. And next, what we have here is Aquaman. Oh, where is he? Okay, well, this is, I opened one of these Aquamans because this card was damaged, so I went ahead and opened him. I got to find where that figure is. But here's Batman, who I got a Batman on a damaged card. So I went ahead and opened him and checked him out, and he is just a really cool figure, an improvement on the gloves over how Mego treated the gloves. Never really liked how Mego did the gloves back in the day, even to the point to where as a kid I would get the figure and virtually chunk the gloves because they were so annoying, clunky, and silly. But cool Batman figure. And he is actually opened, and oop. No, Batman, don't. Okay, what do we got next here? This is Sinestro. This is Green Lantern's arch enemy. And he's an odd looking figure. He looks like a Cirque du Soleil character or something. But cool figure. You got Green Lantern. Boom, get his villain. You know, cool figure, Sinestro. Then here we have the Man of Steel, Superman. Really like how they did the face. The first time I saw these in the store, I really wasn't crazy about Superman. Was the very first one I saw, was the very first one that I had the opportunity to buy. And I wasn't crazy about his face. You know, I thought, it's just a little silly looking. I do not think it was an improvement over Mego's original face. But after I looked at it for a while, and after I got him and I thought about it, I thought, you know, I kind of like it. He's a comic book character, and he's got a very comic booky looking expression on his face. But regardless of all of that or any of that, Superman is a cool figure, cool packaging, cool artwork, and, you know, that's a no-brainer there. Okay, and here we have Aquaman. He's unopened. This is not the Aquaman that I opened. But, and his card is mint, you know, like most of these guys, but just a cool Aquaman. I never ever had the original Mego Aquaman. I think a few kids did. I mean, most kids didn't want to play with Aquaman. Aquaman gets a lot of crap, you know, like on the Big Bang Theory. But cool figure there, cool figure of Aquaman. Next up, we have Lex Luthor, obviously Superman's arch enemy, and this is probably the best looking Lex Luthor figure I have ever seen from Mego, Hasbro, Kenner, whomever. This is just, in my opinion, the absolute coolest Lex Luthor I've ever seen. He comes with the kryptonite, and man, he's a shoe-in for Professor Xavier, for someone that wants to make a custom Professor Xavier. So we have next, okay, here is another Wonder Woman. The Wonder Womans I had to get two because I found two. I had the ability to get two, and they're the most sought after out of this whole line. And when I had an opportunity to get a second one, I was like, you know, I'm going to get a second one, then I'm going to open one of them. But they're just so cool. I never opened one of them. I never had the heart to open it. But I think I will because I really want to. I really want to really check the figure out and pose her, you know, maybe take a couple of pictures. But that is just such an awesome figure. And it never hurts to have a double. I have so few doubles. I usually don't buy doubles because I feel fortunate enough to be able to afford what I can afford. I envy people that can buy doubles a lot. Here is Egon from the Real Ghostbusters cartoon. I was never a fan of the Real Ghostbusters cartoon. I was never really a big fan of the Ghostbusters. I liked the movie, but I never really were interested in collecting Ghostbusters stuff. But when they came out with these figures, I kind of liked them. You know, they were kind of cool, and I thought Egon was the most interesting looking one. I remember him from the cartoons that I never watched when they were on because I think I was into girls and rock and roll only at the time. But I just thought this was a really cool looking figure. I like how they did his hair, his glasses, the Ghostbuster paraphernalia, the pack, and all of that stuff is just awesomely done. So that's a cool figure as well. So the next wave of contemporary Mego-like figures is really awesome, Twilight Zone. These are just cool figures. I came upon them and I was like, oh wow, I had no idea they were making them. And I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to get several of them. Cool, cool figures, really well done. And they are actually, look like they are actually from the Mego molds. So they, you know, are a little closer than some of the, like the retro action. These are actually closer to vintage Megos with the molds and everything, but just awesomely, awesomely done from some of these classic Twilight Zone episodes. Just really, 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 really cool looking figures, and they weren't crazily priced either. They're about the same as the other ones, but I think they're a couple bucks cheaper there actually. He's odd looking, but really cool. And this is something else that's really odd and cool. And when I saw that they were doing this, I almost came apart when they were going to do Mego. And these are actually endorsed by Marty Abrams. Night of the Living Dead, and there's the zombie, and there's Ben. You know, so these two figures, I mean, how freaking cool is that? That is just so cool to have a really cool contemporary Mego from Night of the Living Dead, which is like so far from anything Mego ever did in the 70s. It was, they didn't do horror movies, you know, other than Frankenstein, Wolfman, Mummy, blah, blah, blah. But cool freaking figures right there. Okay, let's find something else. Okay. So here is the Green Arrow, and this guy had to order him because you couldn't buy him in the store. I don't believe they put him in the store. You had to order him online from MattyCollector.com. But that is a great figure, great accessories. That's just such a cool, cool figure. Never had a Green Arrow when I was a kid. Never had the original. Mego did make a Green Arrow, and it is a cool, cool vintage Mego, but it's really hard to get in good shape. Or it's just expensive in good shape. Here is the Aquaman that I did open, and there's his, you know, I did open him, but nonetheless, he's mint. And I have doubles of Aquaman if I ever need to, you know, blow one up with a BB gun or something, you know, a firecracker. Here is the unopened Batman that I showed you, the open Batman. Such an awesome figure. He's probably the second most sought after of this line after Wonder Woman, but just a groovy Batman. And obviously here's everybody's favorite Green Lantern. You know, I don't have a whole lot of gay action figures, but I'm very happy to have this one. But he's just a cool figure, man, and he's probably one of the coolest Green Lantern figures I've ever seen as well. Mego never made a Green Lantern, so it was really nice to have this Mego homage to Green Lantern, you know, years later when we're adults. It was like, oh, cool, because everybody wanted Mego to make a Green Lantern and always wondered why they never made a Green Lantern back in the day. And it's one of my personal favorites from this line is Shazam. I've always liked Shazam. I don't have a lot of Shazam stuff. Seems like good Shazam stuff's kind of hard to find. But I just like this figure. I love how they did this detail in his costume, and I love how they did his face. It doesn't really look like him from the comic books, but it doesn't really not look like him from the comic books. But just a cool, cool figure with Shazam there, and the artwork, the packaging, and the figure is just spot on all the way.